All right, well, I guess we're ready then. Um, so, welcome everybody to an interview with Planet Minecraft. So, I'm Dawdsall21. I run BuildCon with Cake, and with me are Cypress and Parallel, who are two of the big high ups at Planet Minecraft. So, I guess if you
The
two
only
want
high
to,
ups.
the only high ups, there you go. If you two want to introduce yourselves and maybe tell us a bit about you.
Sure. I'm Cypress. I'm the owner and creator of Planet Minecraft. Launched it in 2010. Um, for the most part, I've been working alone until I brought Peril on. Uh, so that's about it.
I'm Peril. I am a programmer for Planet Minecraft. I joined in, I think, 2013 or so, and was working with Cypress kind of pro bono, and then I got hired, and now we're here.
Very good. So, let's start from the beginning. Cypress, when you were starting Planet Minecraft up, what were your thoughts and goals behind it?
Well, in 2010, Minecraft was just like starting to explode in terms of popularity as well as like the creativity of the game. I was watching X's series of Let's Plays on YouTube. And after basically watching that and then starting to play the game myself, I got addicted just like everybody else has. And also recognize the creativity of the game, not just in the fact that the game itself is like an in-game map editor, but then you've also got the skins, texture packs, and everything else that you can customize. It just seemed like not only did I want to share what I was creating in the game, but I knew everybody else would want to do the same. So it was like, since I was a programmer doing web design on the side, I launched Planet Minecraft as while I was doing client work as a freelancer. And as it grew and continued to grow, it just became what it is today, and it will continue to evolve.
Nice. So, what do you personally get out of running Planet Minecraft, and what were your kind of original goals, and have you met them, or have you got any more goals that you want to meet with it as well?
My original goals were what I stated, when the fact that just wanting to bring the community together to allow them to share, where anybody can play Minecraft alone, and where you're creating something, it's just natural that you're going to want to share it with the community as well as come together on servers and work together. So that's one of the main goals, and will always be the goal of Planet Minecraft, is to bring the community closer and help like foster even larger build teams, or pickup groups would be nice if like there was like quick groups that could just join in even though you didn't know each other. As far as reaching those goals, or at least that one, I would say Planet Minecraft has succeeded for the and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There does seem to be quite a community on there, which is quite nice. You've got the same kind of people going around and posting projects, and there's lots of advice. I feel it's quite a friendly community. I don't know about anybody else, but I certainly think so. So I definitely agree that it's achieved those goals. Definitely.
Yeah, it's for like, also for inspiration. Like a lot of times people will
Yeah.
be intimidated by seeing some of the really large builds, which it's good and bad, but at the same time, I think at the end of the day, it does inspire people to continue to play the game and to improve their own skills when they're seeing something that like before they couldn't imagine on their own. That's something that both Planet Minecraft and other websites allow people to see. Where if you were just at home playing on by yourself, or with even in a small server community, you're only going to be exposed to so much.
Yeah, definitely it does. It helps bring everything into one place.
And even
It's
though
like
I
a central
missed,
place. Sorry,
sorry, I was
go
gonna say,
on.
even though I missed a couple of years of like the initial Planet Minecraft launch, the community has evolved so much from that little one that I was part of in 2013. It's crazy to see how far it's come.
Yeah, I could quote some of the site statistics right now. So there's over 2
Hmm.
million members, almost 2 million submissions, uh, 1.6 billion submission views, and 307 over 317 million downloads. So
It only feels like a month ago that we were celebrating 1 million, and now it's already two. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably growing exponentially, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. I don't know if it's petered out at all or if it's still going. Like Minecraft
I,
on its own is kind of like it's been set on a minecart, and it's just going downhill. And like, I mean, well, you know what I mean by downhill, isn't it's not stopping. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say like yeah, the site continues to grow. It's I think it's evolving along with the community, or maturing, you might say, where like some people are feeling more intimidated by the like where it's going. They think it's dying. The same thing with the trend of with like Minecraft. They'll say like, oh, Minecraft's dying or PMC is dying. It ends up it's more like it's maturing, and we're just not sure like what it's going to become, and never will, just because of the nature of the game and the modifiability of it. That like any given time, the game is evolving as well as the community.
Yeah. See, you just mentioned that you weren't sure where it would go. Where do you think it'll go? It's like in 5 years' time, where do you think Planet Minecraft will be?
5 years.
Maybe not necessarily
It's
5 years,
real.
maybe one or
Yeah,
2 years.
sure. Well, like in recent times, we've been like focusing even more on releasing features that are giving members as well as teams like more customizability of the website itself, like with the profile update.
Yeah.
Because we can't predict like what the community is going to be into in like, the next year or 5 years from now. So by making the website similar to why people love playing the game, being customizable and being able to express your creativity, I think that's the safest approach for the like longevity of the community, and also one in which we might not know what will happen um, in the long run. But I think as long as we continue to release features that support that creativity, I think I'll be surprised at where we end up. I've been surprised as it is where we've ended up.
So you mentioned the recent profile update there. There was certainly quite a lot of praise for it from the community I saw on Twitter. But from your end, was that a success? And what do you think you might be able to change and improve to it in the future?
Yeah, for me, I feel like it was a big success for a couple of reasons. One, for me as a developer of it, I was definitely worried about releasing it too soon or releasing it in a way in which there'd be bugs, and knowing that once you've released something like a profile update where you're able to customize your own view of it, that it would need to be like pixel perfect, in the sense that if there was a bug and I had to make a change to even one of the widgets where it adjusted the height or width, or I had to remove one because it was like it was easily abused in some way, then it would cause a major upset, because it would end up completely changing the way everyone's profile that they just spent time on designing. So in that sense, in the technical sense, it was more successful than I expected. I actually had fewer bugs than typical, but at the same token, I spent a lot of time making sure that that would be the case, and it's also why it took so long to release it. So in that sense, it was a success for me. I also think it was a success in the sense that from the community response on it, and seeing the way people have like almost immediately began customizing their profiles in a way where I'm now more interested in visiting each individual profile when I see something like a project. Like before, I could click on the profile and I pretty much would know exactly what I'm going to see, just a list of projects. Maybe I might look at their subscribers and stuff, but I'm not going to see a really unique view of that actually kind of expresses who that user is as well through their profile. And now that's afforded, and there's quite a few members that have, like, have started to push the boundaries of what you would expect to see on just a otherwise like really structured website. What do
Yeah.
you think, Beryl?
I mean, to be honest, when it was launched, I hadn't gotten any. I wasn't really even allowed to see the profile update until like 2 days, 3 days before launch. So my expectations were pretty high because I was being told about all of these features, but not being able to see what they're going to look like. So I had all these vast ideas of what was going to come out of it and how the people were going to use it. And even then, when I actually got my hands on it, I was blown away at what he was able to accomplish in the time that he did it. It was a long time, but a lot of it was just it was insane. And I think the people have done a lot with it so far. And we're always getting new widget ideas, and there's so many things we can do for this, especially for future updates as well.
Yeah, I also tend to bounce around. Like almost immediately after launching the profile update, I started working on the TV guide idea, and perhaps I should have just stuck and gotten more feedback from the community on the profile update before jumping to a whole new section, and that ended up being even larger than I expected to work on. But as far as like where can the profile update go from here, really I want to hear from the community on what widgets they would like to see. Like a lot of times, just like always, the community are the ones that are actually using it, are the ones that are going to discover or have a desire for something that I couldn't come up with. But like a lot of the custom widgets, like the custom post widget allows you to basically post anything in HTML, but it's PB code. So in that sense, it's already really flexible. But I'd like to hear from the community in the sense of what else can we add to this. Is still connected?
Yeah.
Okay.
The host died on it.
I'm back. Microphone.
Hey.
Got a little bit unplugged. Anyway.
A little bit.
just a little.
Try entirely unplugged.
There you go.
It's okay.
Anyway, you mentioned there about the TV guide feature. What, 4 days old now?
Yeah, since Friday.
Yeah, since BuildCon launched then.
Yeah.
What gave you the idea for that? Where did you get the idea for that from?
Well, it's actually a pretty old idea. It's just that I've finally got it back around to working on it more. It used to be the section replaced live TV, which was essentially the same idea. I had launched that, I think, in 2011 or 13. I'm not even positive anymore, but it was for supporting the Extra Life charity event. And so we were doing a bunch of live streaming for that. It was like I think 24 or 48 hour live streaming event. And it was a way for us to broadcast multiple streams. So we're trying to pull multiple streamers together and switch between them, like whichever one had the
That's
best
also
activity
the same
going
for
on,
Glass
or the
Paint.
most prominent activity, and to start broadcasting that to the community. The new TV is the same concept as that, except now it's got multiple channels and a new mode in which, like for example, one of the channels is Minecraft News, where we can populate the Minecraft News channel with any videos on YouTube, and that covers anything related to Minecraft news. And each of those videos, while it just looks like a regular playlist, what makes it different from just watching it alone is that when you join that channel, everybody is synced to the exact same time and video that everyone else is watching. So you can potentially be discussing whatever is going on in that channel as if you're watching it, on actual TV at home with some friends. It's a little, it's different still in the sense that it's hard to like schedule in blocks of time, that they do just continue to play, but we can add it in. If, for example, there was a director in Minecraft News and there was like 10 people watching at the same time and they added a new video, all 10 of those people are going to see the new video show up in the playlist as well as the broadcast change at the same time. So as far as, I don't think I answered your question in the sense of where did the idea come from, but also I would go back to that, and I would say the idea is coming from like just knowing that Planet Minecraft isn't like currently covering video content of Minecraft, and that's a really big draw for the community. Like when a lot of people who are not playing Minecraft will start watching it on YouTube, either through Let's Plays or looking for news on it or anything, just to continue to be part of the community. And I don't think Planet Minecraft has really tapped into that like community sense for video in the way that I wanted. So I think this is hopefully going to afford that. In fact, I'd like to see more channels that are not run by us, but are run by perhaps like server owners that are running events on their server and would like to broadcast their event, and they could be in control of adding in who's streaming from, like, say, like a competitive battle, to have like multiple views and be able and have one director switching between those views of whatever's going on, and then perhaps switch to the main live stream feed where they could actually do discussion of the event. This is something that's kind of hard to describe to the community and like get them on board. It also takes time in terms of like promoting that. And at the same token, I'll probably end up, jumping off of this feature now and working on something new. So it's hard to like balance my time between all of the ideas that we have, and we have a lot still to do on Planet Minecraft. Surprisingly, after like 6 years, you'd think we'd be like have our core feature sets done, but we're still coming up with new stuff.
Yeah, both me and Cypress have the issue of jumping between projects and not staying on one thing at a time. It does create some issues where there's things that still have to be fixed, left behind, and they just kind of pile up. But it does allow us to try a bunch of new stuff for the community kind of quicker than normal.
Yeah, so leading on, what more do you have planned for Planet Minecraft? Can you tell us anything that you've got planned for the future?
Yeah, the first one would be, we've been talking about forever, and Pearl's been working on for a while, is the forums, and I'll let him talk about that.
Yes. So the famed new forums, yes, in development since it was like one of my first projects that I started on in like 2014, and the planned release date is December 2021, 2022 approximately. But, essentially, the idea is to modernize the forums and finally have our own system that we can develop and work from that isn't PHP-BB. I don't know if anyone listening has ever worked with it before, but it's really not scalable and is just a nightmare to work with. It really doesn't fit in with the flow of our site development at all. So essentially, a couple of years ago, we decided we're not touching that forum at all. We're just going to start work on a new one and go from there. When I actually visited Cyprus in the States. I'm from Canada. A while ago, and we had a chance to go through it together, like what we had already, and it's almost ready. Like it's so close, and I know I've said that quite a while, saying oh, it's so close next month. But once him and I, there's a couple things that we have to do, because Cypress started with the whole TV thing, and because of that, I had to jump to working on chat a little bit. So there's that I want to finish up, and then some like back-end changes that we still have to get merged, and then both of us are going to be straight on the forums, and that'll be the next launch. And I can't say it'll take more than 2 months from now, but you never know what'll come up from here to then.
Yeah, definitely don't make any promises. The build community's gotten used to promises that never came.
I don't. Yeah, I'll never forget hashtag BlockArts 2020.
Yeah,
2009.
Let's not go there. Everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, but with the forums though, the concept is basically it's based on Reddit, like it's Reddit-like, but obviously we're not just gonna rip from Reddit. We want something that the community can use better. Community's also in control of in a way. We have the concept of having users create their own categories for the forums and work off of them, but that probably won't be enabled right off the bat. But again, it's all about giving the user control, and I think that's something that even with the TV thing, that's kind of a new focus we've been taking. And with the profile update, of course, that was the main one, because that's like, hey, users can finally actually edit something that before was just like a static piece of content. So that's another thing too with the forums, is hopefully we can make it a little bit more dynamic and customizable to what the user needs, instead of only what the site needs and what people are going to get out of the site.
Yeah, and because it's based on our own in-house content management system, it'll be much more integrated into the actual website versus like feeling like you're on a completely different, well, not completely, but when you're like when you switch between the forums and any other section on the site, there's a very distinct difference. Like even just starting with not seeing your profile card with your level and stats and stuff up in the upper right. There's also this like major bug that we've had forever, which is just being logged out of the forums but logged into the site and not being able to sync that together all like perfectly. And that just comes from the fact that we're running PHP BB and then our own content management system on everything else. So just getting that out of the way finally will be a huge relief. And it's one of the larger big features that we need to release before we can kind of relax, in the sense that we're now working on just smaller features that can be released on a much shorter time scale. Like things like in the future, I'd like to have site themes, so we could have like alternative themes for the site, maybe modernize the whole look of the website, but still keep like a classic theme of the site. The long, like right now, I'm still using like Arial for a font, which a lot of people are like, how can you use this for a Minecraft site or even just a website in general in 2017. Some other features that we've been talking about for a while are groups. So official groups for the site. This would come from both, like, I think teams will enjoy this, as well as just having groups that might support any number of like topics, and even not related to Minecraft.
And profile update was a really good step in that direction, I think, because that will provide a lot of the framework that groups will be able to need to customize page. Because if we just had groups without having that update, then again it would just be static content with a list of submissions, and like that just wouldn't have worked.
Right.
But now that we have this framework, we could quite easily make something great for groups for people to make groups with.
Right, including like widgets specific to groups, perhaps for like recruiting, or like group widgets in which multiple accounts are posting to one location. And this is where the new forums come into play, having specific forums for groups in which only if like the groups themselves are setting up the permissions on who can post and on for that. We've also talked about adding new sections to the site, like content sections such as like block models. Another one of I think the top ticket right now is asking for skin alts or alternative skins. Basically, you have like
sorry, go ahead.
Just basically having like a skin that only has small alterations to it. We want to afford that to be posted without it looking like spam. Like, for example, one skin that might have like a yellow dress, and you post that, but then other people are going to want maybe pink, blue, and on and on. Having somebody post each one separately ends up spamming the feed. So instead of that, we hope to be able to combine them all into one location, onto one page, but still keeps track of the stats for that individual user, so they can know what their most popular skins are.
And resource packs, of course. Like we didn't want to commit to changing texture packs to resource packs because we don't have all the setup for filtering things by sounds and models and all that. I think we just renamed it to pack, if I recall. I think you did, yeah. So that's okay, but we definitely need a lot more options for properly representing everything that a resource pack can do now instead of just textures.
Yeah, it'd be fun to revisit each of the categories on the site and enhance them. I mean, long overdue. It's just in
servers
the sense of,
too, especially. That's a big one.
Yeah, servers are really big. They've needed some more love for a long time. Then let's see what else. We've also had ideas for introducing achievements into the site, but that's one of those like back burner ideas where it's like you got to be careful not to introduce achievements that might promote people posting just for the sake of posting to achieve it, to get that achievement. So it's not as important, but it's something that we keep hearing people want, and we know would be fun to do. But that's one of those ideas that we just haven't gotten to, and who knows if we ever will.
Sort of like an extension to our trophies, but not just being contest specific, basically.
Right. Yeah, it would show up in like your trophy case.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to take a step back to your mentioning the group update kind of thing. Would that be something that's similar to LinkedIn, and then maybe with aspects of Reddit brought in with the controlled forum?
Well, I haven't used LinkedIn enough to really relate it to LinkedIn. Have you, Peril?
No, I poked around with it, but it's just not been something I've really needed to do yet.
Or what would you say? What are you looking for, Dorsar?
So LinkedIn is basically you set up a personal account, and then you can have company accounts which display the members in that company,
Hmm.
and you can have
Sure.
like company showcases pages as well, where it's a much more condensed information page. And again, you've got specific members of that can be displayed. So is that the kind
Yeah.
of field you're going for with the
Oh,
group update?
yeah, definitely. Like it'll be. I mean, just in the name itself, it'd be grouping members together, and still, like I guess you would have a group page, like profile for everyone,
Hmm.
and so a leader, an admin of the page, in which they'd be able to assign permissions or say whether or not a member is a member of that page and what permissions they have over that. They would have one feed in which you'd have all the submissions gathered together from that group. It kind of like all the parts of a group system are all developed at this point, besides the forums, in which once it launches, it's kind of gonna build itself. It's gonna be probably one of the easier big features to do for PMC, in which will be like really powerful and a lot of, and will also like bring people together, which has been the whole goal since the beginning. So it's going to be one of the more exciting features that it's just going to almost build itself after having all the parts done.
It's hard to compare it to something that already exists. It's sort of like a combination of Facebook pages and Steam groups in the way that with Facebook pages you have a feed where you can post stuff to. That's just our wall system. That's one very small component. But you would also have our site just having submissions and the experience system, and that's something we could think about splitting experience between members and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And in the way that Steam groups work is that you've got the group of people that can communicate with each other easily, sort of like a built-in chat sort of thing. They can post messages in their little private forum that they would have, a custom forum, and they could make public if they want to. And sort of like if you have a game posted on Steam, you basically get your own sub forum that you can then be in control of and have moderators for. So that's another thing too that we would also like to experiment with, is having basically groups have their own public forum that they can then use on Planet Minecraft, and it would be visible if you visited like the all section and stuff like that.
So you mentioned like Steam and that kind of stuff there. Have you ever considered maybe making Planet Minecraft a bit more of a hub for stuff outside of Minecraft as well? So perhaps having an app similar to Steam where people can show what games they're playing and share that with their friends.
Um, yes and no. I mean, I wouldn't show different games on Planet Minecraft, just because it's dedicated solely to it.
Yeah.
But as far as the system, that like everything that's been developed for Planet Minecraft, it's always been in mind that in the future, what can, oh, sorry.
he
Oh,
no he we got an echo from a member. He muted himself
yeah.
though.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's always been in the back of the mind that yes, all these features can be applied to other games, and wouldn't even have to be games. It could honestly be even like crafts and stuff in the world. Like there's no real reason why the profile can't represent like woodworking for some, like if it was a woodworking website. So in that sense, yes, someday I think all the work that has been put into Planet Minecraft will be launched as either a hub website of its own, separate from it, or like individual websites that all also benefit from all the features and work that we put into PMC.
I'm just going to take time quickly. Anybody that's watching on Twitch or listening on Discord, feel free to ask any questions. I'm sure Paul and Cypress wouldn't mind answering them at the end. So
No.
just add them, ask them in the Q&A chat on Discord or just the Twitch chat on Twitch.
Yeah, I did see one for Steam group widget, which is definitely, if Steam provides a way to do that, that's obviously something we could do pretty easily. And staff members having access to private forums, definitely. Moderators would need that for obvious reasons. And 9 plus 10 is 11. Thank you for the... Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's 19. I should stop trying to answer questions now. Let's... Okay, host, you can take over now.
Anyway, so yeah, moving on. We've talked a lot about the good stuff and the exciting stuff with Planet Minecraft. We are going to have to talk about some of the things that people dislike about the site, obviously, as well. So let's start with the full page ads that I know people have been complaining about for a long time. It's like the banner ads on either side and the occasional one that goes across the top. Have you got any plans of possibly removing these or replacing them with some other? Well, because obviously the site needs to make some money to keep it hosted. But is there anything that you're planning to do to maybe reduce the number of ads or get revenue from a different source?
Yeah, this you're referring to the skin ads that they're like large and they show up on either side of the site.
Yep.
I'm actually did just talk with the ad agencies about those, and I do think that we're going to see a big reduction in them, and they're only going to be used for truly direct advertising rather than falling back to what they call remnant advertising, where it's basically an auction, like bidding war over who can display an ad there, and it gets lower and lower in terms of what amount they have to pay to get there. I'd rather see no ads there unless they're a very relevant ad to like the community, and I think that's a good balance in terms of instead of getting rid of them completely, because it is an attractive advertising source for myself as well as for advertisers to have that option, as well as the agencies to be able to go out and look for people. So as far as getting rid of them completely, no, I don't see that happening in the near future, but I do see a significant reduction in the number, because even for me, I don't like seeing giant ads for something that's like essentially a cell phone app of a game.
Yeah. And have you got plans for introducing anything else instead of ads, or as well as ads, to help keep Planet Minecraft running and pay for the hosting and stuff? Like, for example, premium features, so ranks or donator-only areas of the site. Is that kind of something you've got planned or thought about?
This is I have heard this question since the beginning of the site. I've always I've definitely always rather would have a free website in which there was no paid source. Like it's almost goes back to like pay to win type stuff. So if I did ever introduce something like that, it would certainly be something that wouldn't really have donator only sections or special features that would have any effect on the popularity of the member. And I guess I could see it being introduced in the sense that it would be an option to be able to turn off all ads, or maybe the color of your name would change. But honestly, I'd rather not accept money from the community in any way. I'd rather just keep it with ads than to get into that type of, I guess, revenue stream. It makes me weary.
Cypress, the PMC shop.
Yeah, I saw that mentioned in the Twitch chat.
To be honest, I loved the idea of the shop, and I actually did get a few things from there. It would be cool to have, but I don't know what Cypress's plans are on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever bring that back.
Oh.
It's like, well, I don't know.
Oh.
About merchandise for PMC. I get that, obviously there's fans of the site, and of course I am one myself, and it's nice to be able to purchase things that have a brand that you love on it. But I don't know. It goes back to just like why try and push products of your own when what you're really there for is your main goal of like fostering the creativity of the community. I don't know. I don't like having an entire section dedicated to just random merchandise, coffee mugs and shirts. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's a really big source that I should be using, and maybe I wouldn't even need to have ads, but I highly doubt it.
Okay, that's fair enough. You'd rather keep it much more focused than having random stuff everywhere.
Yeah, like even with the like, say members could pay to either have like a donator rank or something, like then suddenly inevitably I'm going to have to dedicate some of my time to refunds for people that either get banned after they paid, or just this potential social drama around that would pull me away from developing features that the entire community could use. I would really hate to be working on just like donator specific features when I could be working on something that everybody could use. Just even beginning to switch your mind into thinking about something like that is alternative to what you should be doing is a time sink and can be a real drain.
Yeah. So, Arcaniacs mentioned in the Q&A about a daily view count bug. You don't have to answer that right away. I'm gonna continue. But there's also the front page slider of different supposed popular submissions. That I know that there's been a lot of almost controversy around that. As does that work? How it's supposed to? Is it broken, or is the way that it works fundamentally kind of flawed? Is that something that people have assumed to be true?
Or the popular reels? Yeah. Well, I think I don't think there would ever be an algorithm that could actually like satisfy everyone by any means. Even if you made up one that was somehow technically perfect, it would still feature stuff that somebody else was saying, no, that's not as popular as what should be being featured right now. That said, the algorithms were written a long time ago. It's possible that those numbers could be adjusted and they could be featuring content that is, I guess, that would be closer to what maybe a human would choose rather than just a computer. Certainly, some sections like that are less popular are much easier to hit the reel, and because of the fact that, because of that, like you can get onto the reel with almost anything. And then there's trouble where, or not trouble, but more like when you have a popular user post something, almost immediately they're going to get because they have so many subscribers, or their projects are almost always going to hit the reel and ends up pushing out others. So that said, we could certainly re-review like what the current algorithms are, but I can almost guarantee as soon as we launch that change in it, people are going to even be more aware of what's being displayed there, and it's still not going to be good. It's still not going to choose what should be popular.
Because of the way the algorithm works, essentially you're competing more with the people who also post at the same time as you. So that's a lot of things people are like, if I post this and I can like immediately get on the reel, and it's I mean, if nothing else has been posted at that time, then like, yeah, because you're competing with nobody. Like, you're always going to be on the reel if you have nobody to compete with. So the sections that have more stuff posted per day tend to have more competition for the reel.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, obviously, Minecraft BuildCon, we're all about building and everything. The recent build contests haven't seemed to have been doing quite so well. There haven't even been enough people to get a full set of finalists in the last two. Why do you think this is, and how do you think you might be able to counter this and get more popularity for the build contests again?
Want to answer, Peril?
I
mean, there's a couple of reasons, but
yeah,
I know we've talked about this internally.
It's like a multiple pronged answer. I think advertising and social media presence is something that we definitely have to work on, because for the most part it's just me and Cypress that mess with Facebook and Twitter, and personally I really don't like doing Twitter and stuff. Like it's fun interacting with the community, but I taking myself away from programming to do that it always kind of lets me down a little bit, because I'm like, I could be working on something, but so I think that's one area that we have to figure out what we're going to do with. I like one of our most popular contests was, I think it was the underwater one, and what was it? Yeah, it was the underwater one, the one that got mainstream coverage. There was a couple news sites that were posting about it and all the builds that were being posted. And like that was really cool. And I think we need to figure out a way to reach out to other communities and let them know what we're doing, and all the people that are going to be, entering the contest. Hopefully, the people that say beforehand, hey, we're going to be entering this, and then um, maybe giving a little more advanced time to when we're going to be doing contests is one thing I've heard quite a bit too. Obviously, not saying what the theme is, because that would give them extra time to work on the theme, or like their build related to the theme.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think also a large part for these last couple contests, people were very busy building the amazing showcases they did for BuildCon, which has been awesome to see them all being posted at this time. But of course, they weren't able to work on perhaps contest entries for the contest, which is one other reason. And then I think there was
especially
also,
because the contest kind of came out of nowhere too. Like MCBuildCon was so far in advance, whereas we
awesome.
were just like, hey, 2 new contests, go. So that's another thing. Like it all kind of ties back into that same issue.
Yeah.
And maybe not having so many contests at the same time. Like they're all different types, so we expect different people to be participating in the different ones. Like the solo contests, obviously they're aimed more at individuals who don't have as much expertise as the bigger teams, as well as just the people that are part of teams that want to do something small on their own, for instead of with a team. And then there's the team contests, which tend to work more towards the bigger teams that can group together on servers and all that.
Yeah, I think that might be part of the biggest reason why there's been a decline in the number of contest entries, not just for the current ones, but in general, is just along with the Minecraft community, it's people have seen the established contests and the history of them, and can see the quality of like that actually win or that place. And even even before the contest is over, they're able to see what entries are currently they're going to have to go up against, and they might be in the middle of a build and then see like an amazing build that they're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to beat that, and just decide to not finish it. And I think because the contest has been going on for years now, that the majority of the community has a really good idea of like how much work is going to take to place in one, that I think we're seeing a decline just naturally in that sense. And as far as how to solve that, I think it's going to come down to revamping the contests, as well as introducing new forms of them, like smaller ones. Like one that I've been dying to work on is skin battles, which is just like essentially much smaller user challenged battles in which they're matched up, like tried to be matched up either through algorithms on the site of like trying to figure out what basic skill level a skinner has, either through the experience points they've earned through past skins, or members themselves entering themselves into like different brackets. Say like I feel like I have a skill like a C skill level or a B or an A skill level. Try and match me up against somebody who's currently in the system that would like to battle me over a particular theme. So I think by having smaller contests like that, where it's not such a month-long event where you're competing against hundreds or of other users, would be probably more interesting and more engaging at this point than to continue to try and do these larger, more focused contests. We could have, of course, both.
Or even something like an ELO rating sort of thing, where everyone starts at the same number, and then as they compete, they either take away or give points depending on whether they win or lose. But I'd worry about people comparing themselves to other people. Like people compete for the highest ELO, and you see communities like League and Overwatch where they get really toxic about that kind of stuff, and I don't know if I'd want to encourage that kind of behavior. Someone did say a big reason people don't participate in contests is because of the huge builders and teams. Many of the bigger guys win every contest. Is there any way you can change that? That's a tough thing. Like we've always felt that it's kind of unfair to say, hey, you won before, so you're not allowed to win again. I understand where people are coming from with that, but I don't know if that's the best way of approaching it, is to just take away their ability to win. Like,
no, that's I don't think I would ever go for that. It would have, if we did that, we need to overhaul the whole system in the sense that there's different brackets or leagues. so that
Yeah.
you can still compete, and maybe we do away with the prizes in the same way, and instead it's more um, like just for the fact of competing. Maybe that would be the best way to go about it.
I mean, there is a. I think one of us retweeted on Twitter. There's
Oh
a
yeah.
poll, like a Google Doc thing form that you can fill out related to contests, basically just asking the community what they feel the issue is with the contests. So we're going to be definitely looking at that when it's finished and see what people think and go from there.
Yeah, I think contest is probably one of the hardest things to work on Planet Minecraft.
Hmm.
There's always going to be the people that love it and the people that hate it, so there's not much you can do about it there. But I think earlier you mentioned you wanted to improve the server section. We've got a question from Flushy specifically about how will you improve the server section, especially moderation and more broad sections, like for instance roleplay versus RPG servers. How will you improve the server section?
Having new automatic tags like you said, roleplay, RPG, figuring out what kinds of gameplay people are using with them. I think we got to keep up with that because a lot of the categories and whatnot haven't been changed since like 2014. So and again, the servers in general, rather, for PMC for Minecraft have evolved so much from just factions and whatnot into so many different categories now. So we definitely have to go back and review those. There's obviously also some third-party issues with third-party server software that we need to work out. The ability for projects to be linked to servers, which I think is actually implemented now, Cypress.
Yeah, I implemented that right before TV, but I haven't started to display like a new list, like basically promoting the servers that have members that are posting projects as a way of like people discovering new servers. So like right now you can associate your project to a server on PMC, and your project will appear on that server page, as well as your project will display in the description that you're associated to the server. The next step, now that there's been enough projects associated to servers, I can now generate a list of servers on PMC to sort and view based on the members that are posting projects to them. And I think that'll be a great way of discovering not only new servers, but also ones that have members that are also going to be active on PMC that you can communicate with, as well as share your own projects. So that's one completely new way in which we'll have new lists of servers on PMC. As far as like other features for servers, there's endless ones. There's so many server listing sites out there that it's our differentiating ability. It does come from the fact that there's a large community behind it, as well as being able to associate it with not just members but the projects that like we just did with like what I was just talking about.
Yeah, just having more integration in general with servers, like if we do, well, if when we do groups and pages, like that's another thing
Mhm.
that even servers can make their own group for the whole server, and being able to have their own forum on the site, and like a little chat room. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we can do with it.
Yeah, I'd like to see provide like along with the TV guide idea is basically having servers post events on PMC, being careful about obviously being abused for advertising, but it would be at the end of the day, if we can figure out how to do it where it's not just being spammed, then it could be a really fun way to discover servers that are active, and not only active but are organized enough to put together an event, which can then be promoted on PMC as well as hopefully broadcast as their own TV channel. I think that would be a whole new way as well to bring in communities together on, because there's communities on Minecraft, which every single one of the servers are, and then there's the PMC community, which is trying to group them all together. Well, there's a lot of thought and time going into every one of these servers, and each one like deserves to be able to like try and reach out and capture the attention of any of the members of PMC. So it'd be nice to be able to be like help that communication even more than we do right now.
Someone asking if we would ever change the way to verify your server. Probably not. I find that the approach we have right now is the better way of doing it, in that you would only do it once and post it, and then you're good to go. We will look into alternatives just in case. I know shutting down your server and reopening it is a hassle, but again, it's only something you have to do once. And also, someone's saying a different topic entirely, but how Minecraft Store is going to work with our site. Like in terms of integration or anything, we're not, as far as I know, we're not going to be doing anything with it. I don't know if Cypress has any thoughts about Minecraft Store. Yeah, the Mojang one.
Oh no, I mean it's new. I don't know. I'm not even certain whether we'll end up supporting plugins officially on PMC, because of the fact that it looks like it'll be officially supported by them, and why try and like overlap or like compete with something that they're doing themselves. So yeah, it's a little soon for me to tell like what we'll do in that sense. I'd prefer, like, even now we don't like officially support like the Pocket Edition in any way. We just continue to focus on the version that's most customizable. And I mean we'll always continue to do that, but whether we'll like start like different sections or categories for Windows 10 or the paid content, I doubt it.
I mean, maybe for just having maps, but that's the only thing really that between versions can just be kind of plopped in most cases and ran.
Yeah, actually, is there a converter for that yet? I don't think there is.
I think so. I remember someone asked me if they could post their Pocket Edition map, and I said, yeah, as long as other people can use it,
yeah.
I don't see why not. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
Also, someone had also asked, I actually misinterpreted their question, but sites like Mine Vendor, Schematic Store, things like that, if we would ever kind of work with them to have a way on our site to purchase things from them, or even have a purchasing thing on our own site, I don't think so.
No, it kind of goes back to like having paid members or donations. I prefer to not to have paid content, and especially now where Mojang is releasing their own. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to reach out to the Schematic Store and speak with them, either asking them to not do it anymore, or just maybe they'll end up working together, and that's where it'll end up working. But for us, as far as selling schematics, I really don't like the idea. I like just going, if my website's free to join, I feel like all the content on it should be free and forever. Trying to introduce a section in which people are going to start removing their content that otherwise would have been free to download, is now you have to pay money for. It's just, while I want to support the content by promoting it and getting feedback, and they can at that point draw maybe some attention into their paid versions on the official Mojang store, I don't want that type of activity really occurring on PMC at all, in terms of money being exchanged directly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people should just be able to be creating stuff for the sake of creativity, and just wanting to share that. It doesn't always have to be about money. There's a bunch of questions in here.
Yeah. You mentioned about not wanting to overlap with Mojang and a lot of the stuff that they're doing. What kind of relationship do you have with Mojang? Do you have a relationship with them? Obviously, PlanetMinecraft is pretty big. Do they recognize you?
It's a very sensual relationship. No, we talk to them on Twitter quite a bit. I've talked to Mark and them like on Skype sometimes, but it's really nothing official. Like we've asked them for, I've asked them for a couple little things. They've gotten us to tweet out some codes for realms a couple times, or one time rather. Like it's nothing official. We're not with them. They're not with us. They're friends with us basically.
Yeah, I think it's just I've never even had a conversation with really any of them, except for very random on Skype as well, even less than Peril has. I think we've always been, I haven't even paid for advertising for PMC. It's just been an organic growth, and obviously we're supporting their game, and we love what Minecraft is and the community around it. They have the same motive in terms of wanting to support the community, and I think in that sense there's mutual respect. But as far as like, hey, will you post this, or can you send us member names or anything like that? Like, we've never had any type of relationship in that sense. I have like noticed since like Minecraft.net has started posting like articles on their site, that they've featured quite a few both projects, texture packs, and even skins from members on PMC, and they'll plug their profiles or the content that they posted. And so they've never asked, and I don't see why they ever would have in terms of reaching out to our members to do that. It's just like, in the sense, like, why not support some of the creative community members that's playing their game. So in that sense, I think there is that mutual respect for a relationship, but as far as like anything official, I don't think there ever needs to be, besides just continuing to play the game.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So, Stuffy Face asked, we would have people to pay to advertise their post on the front page, and you were talking earlier about not wanting to accept money from people. So I think that's something to take away from this for anybody that's listening. If you want to make suggestions about payment to Planet Minecraft anyway, it's likely not to happen. That's something that Cypress has mentioned and quite a lot. Planet Minecraft is there for the community. It's there to be free. It's there for people to enjoy without having to spend money. So I think
I've actually run into a couple of server owners who have said, like, oh, I've been to this one server and they told us that they paid Planet Minecraft to feature their submission or their server, and all. It's like, we've never done that. Not once. I don't know where these rumors start. Like, I don't know what they're trying to get from it, but we've never done that.
No, but in fact, that's one of the reasons why we removed the popular reel from the server section, just because there was too much speculation on why a server would make it to that reel. But no, we've never accepted money, even just to be on like almost every other server listing website. Understandably needs to accept some money in order to get listed at the top, and maybe that's fine. It's just, for me, to be paid positions, just like paid donations and on and on. I just prefer everyone to have some type of even playing ground. So it's basically the popularity that you gain is up to you as an individual. And as soon as you start introducing money into it, it just kind of games the whole system, and nobody can really trust like who's truly, like should be getting the attention, or who's truly creative in the community. The experience system, I think, is enough in that sense, that people are, searching, just posting content to try and get popular in that sense, and trying to introduce money into that, I think, is just going to cause even more drama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Creative Minecraft is certainly riddled with salt and everything else that comes along with it. So certainly if Planet Minecraft were to start getting the same thing, it would probably spell the end of it all.
And it's worth mentioning how awesome it is in general that Minecraft as started out as just a small little indie game by one guy, and has grown so big that people are literally, like, even myself and Cypress, indirectly making money and making their lives off of a game. Like, it's not something you could imagine ever happening, and then it's happening now, and we're living it.
Yeah. I think that's probably about it. There's another panel starting in 2 minutes by Linscraft. So I suppose if Cypress Apparel has anything else to say, say it quickly. Otherwise, panel 1 is the next panel.
We'll be opening a server for MC users. We did before, didn't have time to run it. Maybe in the future we'll do it again, but unlikely that we'll really have the time to maintain it ourselves. Obviously, we're developers. We want to make the website, and the server is just kind of a distraction from that.
Wanted to thank you for having us on, for being interviewed, and for organizing such an amazing event. It's no small task to pull something off like you guys have for 4 days. So, good job.
Thanks. I certainly haven't slept very much.
Yeah, get a good naparoo in. We all need one, I think. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah. So that'll be coming to an end now. So thank you very much for everybody for coming to listen, whether you be on Discord or on Twitch.